Welcome to the Underline This podcast, the podcast where we unpack the big ideas hiding in the margins, because the best parts, they're between the lines. Og Mandino once sat in a closed garage, engine running, convinced his life was over. A decorated World War II pilot, he lost his job, his marriage, and himself to alcohol. That night, he planned his own death. He pulled his car into a garage, windows down, and closed the garage door behind him. As the toxic fumes began to fill the room, a single thought stopped him: the people he would leave behind. He lived one day more, and the next day, instead of giving up, he walked into a library. And what he found there didn't just save his life, it became the greatest salesman in the world. And today's episode is about rock bottom, second chances, and how one decision to live can echo through millions of lives. Now, once in a while, I'll find a book that forces me to grow. As a result, I become more knowledgeable, more wise, or have more direction. And for some, this comes from reading a holy text like the Bible, an autobiography, or a personal development book. These moments of growth are like a software update that takes our mental hardware and code to the next level. For example, Apple has the iPhone 17, which is more slim. It has a sharper camera, faster run speeds, and more memory. After reading The Greatest Salesman in the World, you'll become an evolved version of yourself. It provides you with a system update for the brain. This is a DIY book focused on rewiring your mind for success. The key? It's DIY. At the surface, The Greatest Salesman in the World is framed as an old story set in the time of Jesus. Our protagonist, Hafid, a poor camel boy who unexpectedly becomes a wealthy merchant. And the heart and soul of the book lies in these 10 scrolls, a set of principles Hafid studies daily. Each scroll representing a habit, a belief, or discipline meant to shape character rather than technique. It's in these scrolls that Hafid attributes his success and promises success to the reader. At its core, Og Mandino teaches us that success isn't achieved through cleverness or persuasion, but through becoming a certain kind of person. The arc is inward rather than outward. It's from insecurity to self-command, from imitation to integrity, and from desire for success to devotion to service. The greatest salesman isn't defined by wealth, but by consistency of character. Although influence and manipulation have their effectiveness, the greatest salesman sells not by manipulation, but by trust, love, and persistence. Consistency of character isn't an overnight process. It's like the value of a currency. It'll go through inflation, devaluation, but as it gets backed by experience, good deeds, and selflessness, it becomes stronger, like currency backed by gold or silver. Who is Og Mandino? The more you learn about the author, the more you'll realize his life is inseparable from the book. Before becoming one of the best-selling authors of all time, Mandino was a World War II bomber pilot, an alcoholic, and at one point, he was homeless and suicidal. At his low point, he once sat alone in a library, contemplating whether or not to end his life. And around this time, he encountered Think and Grow Rich, which catalyzed his belief that philosophy, habit, and belief could rescue a life. And Mandino wrote The Greatest Salesman in the World not as a sales manual, but as a step-by-step moral recovery program. It's a blend of Stoic discipline, Christian ethics, self-help optimism, and ancient wisdom traditions. And the book feels less like something written to an audience and more like something written to himself than shared. Those 10 scrolls remind me of Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, and that's what makes both books powerful and authentic, as they were principles that were tried and proven to work. These principles focus on mindset, and they're not unique either. The greatest minds in personal development, like Og Mandino, Marcus Aurelius, or Viktor Frankl, are just like people on infomercials giving their testimonials with their writing. Now, Og Mandino has several key themes. First, success as identity, not outcome. The book insists that results are downstream from who you are daily. Who I am today is very different from who I was last year, 5 years ago, and 10 years ago. Wealth is a byproduct, not the goal. The goal is habits, and any habits can change at any time. Second, Habit as destiny. Each scroll emphasizes repetition. I had a rugby coach that won 418 games and had 10 losses during a long period of time. And he used to say, practice doesn't make perfect, it makes permanent. And Mandino suggests that we're not changed by insight, but by what we rehearse. When we act like someone who is successful, we become successful. So success is just a byproduct. Third, love as a strategy. One of the book's most radical claims is that love isn't soft, it's effective. To sell is to serve. And when we're selfless, we attract the trust of others. It's the law of reversal. The more we give, the more we get in return. Recently, I went to a restaurant. The waitress was warm and personable. She was very attentive, made strong recommendations. Now, looking back at this experience, I asked, what was her secret? She loved what she did, and the love was found in her work with the people she was serving. She made the experience so pleasant, she upsold us on appetizers, entrees, and dessert. And again, that secret recipe was the passion and love that she had for her job. Fourth, delayed gratification and faith in the process. In the late 1960s, Stanford studied delayed gratification and the ability to resist small rewards now for a bigger reward later. How does this work? So a child sat alone and was given a marshmallow. They could eat it now or wait 15 minutes. When researchers followed up years later, kids who waited longer tended to have better academic outcomes, higher SAT scores, and better stress management and self-control. The takeaway became gospel. Patience equals future success. And the marshmallow test didn't prove that patience predicts success. It showed that people invest in the future only when they trust it will arrive. Now, for faith in the process, the scrolls require months of repetition before moving on. And the deeper question, can modern people still commit to slow transformation? And the short answer is yes, but it's a climb. How many people do you see transfer their bodies through diet and exercise? Or someone that decides to run a marathon and does? Graduate from years and years of school? Faith is a lot more common than we think. Let's explore symbols from the book. First, the scrolls. These scrolls symbolize ancient, timeless truths, wisdom that must be absorbed gradually, not consumed quickly. And this is the power of affirmations. High performers use them all the time. Hardware is only as good as the software. What does that mean? What you do is only as good as the power of your mind. Second, morning and evening rituals. This represents intentional living, bookending the chaos of the day with meaning. And this is part of the natural doing to rewrite the software in the hardware of your mind. Next, the camel boy. This is a metaphor for humility and obscurity. The idea that greatness begins unnoticed, and from small beginnings come great things. Seeds and the harvest. Now, this repeated imagery reinforces patience, compounding effort, and faith in unseen growth. Now, here are some notable quotes that I wanted to highlight. First, I will form good habits and become their slave. Why does that matter? True freedom comes from disciplined submission to the right habits. Discipline equals freedom, to quote Jocko Willink. Discipline doesn't restrict your agency. It's about making the right decisions with your agency. I will greet this day with love in my heart. Why does that matter? It frames love as a daily practice, not a feeling, especially in transactional environments. Love isn't a weakness, it's a strength. Failure will never overtake me if my determination to succeed is strong enough. Why does this matter? It's not bravado, but resilience in our determination that gives us power. This is the refusal to not let setbacks define identity. Last one I'll share here. I am nature's greatest miracle. Why does that matter? This idea anchors us to understanding our self-worth. And self-worth doesn't come from comparison, but in uniqueness and responsibility. Why does this book still matter today? In an era obsessed with attention, entertainment, and comparison, The Greatest Salesman in the world feels almost defiant. It argues that character outperforms charisma, consistency beats intensity, and ethics are not optional, they're strategic. Its longevity comes from the fact that it doesn't teach selling, it teaches self-command, which applies just as much to leadership, creativity, relationships, and modern knowledge, and it works as it does to sales. The book endures because it answers a timeless anxiety. Who do I need to become so success can trust me with itself? I have tried reading the 10 scrolls on a daily basis to see how it impacts me. And I just wanted to try and upsell you on what these are by providing you with the headlines from each of those 10 scrolls. So scroll number 1, form good habits, become their servant. Your life is already ruled by habits, and the only real choice is whether they serve your highest aims or quietly sabotage them. Scroll number 2, greet each day with love. Love is not sentiment, it's a posture. Approaching people with goodwill disarms resistance and transforms transactions into relationships. 3, persist until you succeed. Talent and luck are unreliable. Persistence is democratic. Those who last win. Scroll 4, live each day as your last. Urgency clarifies priorities. When time is precious, procrastination loses its power. Scroll 5, master your emotions. You are not your moods. Discipline begins when feeling no longer dictates action. Scroll 6, laugh at the world and yourself. Humor is humility in motion. Taking yourself less seriously makes failure survivable and success lighter. Scroll 7, increase your value relentlessly. Income follows impact. Grow your skills, judgment, and usefulness, and the rewards will follow you. Scroll 8, act now. Knowledge without execution is fantasy, and action is the bridge between intention and reality. Scroll 9, pray for guidance, not rewards. Seek wisdom over outcomes. When your direction is right, results tend to take care of themselves. Scroll number 10, live so your legacy outlives you. True success is measured by contribution. A meaningful life echoes beyond personal gain. As I'm close to wrapping up, I just want to provide you with some book club discussion questions. Number 1, is modern success culture skipping the, quote, becoming phase and jumping straight to outcomes? Book club question number 2, can love genuinely be a competitive advantage, or is that idealism? Book club question number 3, which scroll feels most uncomfortable today, and why might that be the point? Discussion question number 4, is discipline a form of self-oppression or the highest expression of self-respect? Let's bring this home now. Because Mandino's real lesson isn't about selling products, it's about earning the right to be believed. And this is one of those books that is selling you tools to develop a strong and successful mindset. So what's the price? It's reading the scrolls and repeating them until they become fixed in your mind. Thank you for listening to the Underline This podcast. Give us a follow on social media and wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks again, everyone.